He says, then Yahweh your Elohim shall turn back your captivity and shall have compassion. Now notice the process. The heart changes. We turn back to obeying his voice, and then he turns back to the captivity. Because remember, we were just reading in Isaiah that he said in Isaiah that that his deliverance would be coming. He says, my deliverance is near. Deliverance out of what? Out of captivity. Okay? This is, of course, again, pointing towards, as always, the type and shadow that you see with the Exodus out of Egypt. All right? The first Exodus, and then we're looking forward towards this greater Exodus, where the deliverance was out of a captivity. See, unfortunately, there are those out there teaching that the commandments were done away with, and the commandments are no good, and they were a burden, and they were terrible. They bring life. Read what's going on in Deuteronomy chapter 30. Listen to what he's saying. He says, if you will just turn back to me, and like he said in Isaiah, and seek after my righteousness, and my deliverance will be near to come. My righteousness will be revealed. My righteousness will be revealed. While you're scattered and isolated and in captivity, guess what you haven't understood? His righteousness. He had to reveal it to you. So let's stop calling the Torah, the law, a burdensome, horrible thing that's hard. It's not hard. Why is it hard? Is it hard to keep one day? Is it hard to keep Saturday instead of Sunday? No. It's hard to do the feast instead of Christmas and Easter? No. Is it hard to eat differently? No. What's hard? Living in a world where everybody else doesn't do it the way you do it. That makes it hard. People make it hard. It's not hard. Can we agree? I mean, tell me one Torah command that's hard. Blessed is the man who does this and the Son of Man who lays hold of it. Can you lay hold of what Deuteronomy 30 was talking about? Because that's what Isaiah chapter 56, verse 1 and 2 was talking about, what chapter 30 of Deuteronomy was talking about. Can you lay hold of this? Can you do and guard the righteousness that's revealed? Can you walk in that righteousness that's revealed? Because we have sons and daughters that chose to be apostate. And we have sons and daughters that chose to break the covenant. So just being a son and daughter doesn't necessarily avail anything in itself. This is the key that he's trying to say. By the way, Paul talks about this all the time, that birthright doesn't mean anything unless you're doing what you're supposed to do. Birthright doesn't mean anything unless you're doing what you're supposed to do. What you suffered from, and still suffer from probably to some degree, is a lack of understanding of the Tanakh, the Old Testament. If you understood, I mean really understood, everything from Genesis through to 2 Chronicles or Malachi, whichever way your Bible's laid out, then you understood that so well that you would read the New Testament, you would know absolutely, oh, I know what he's talking about. It says, 10 men shall grab the kanaf, the edge, the corner of the garment of a Jew, of a Yehudite, saying, let us go with you, for we have heard that Elohim is with you. Not with all the anti-Semitism I'm hearing right now, where they're not ready to do this. Even in the Messianic, Hebrew roots, whatever body, they're not ready to do this because there's an incredible level of disdain for Yehuda, for Judah. They're not saying we know God is with you. They're trying to convince Judah that God is with us. In other words, Judah has the keys to that. Judah's been guarding and keeping and preserving the commandments so that we could have them. So the deliverance, which comes out of submission to the voice, Judah has kept around for us. And people say, oh, no, stop giving Judah all this credit. Yahweh did it. Yes, he did, but he chose Judah to do it because he knew they would. He knew you could kill them, you could martyr them, you could torture them, and they still would keep going. They're better than any, little ever-ready batteried bunny, okay? It keeps on going and keeps on going, okay? They are going to just keep going no matter what you do to them. Because it starts with them. And they paid a heavy price to be the ones that it starts with. And so they hold a very high and honored position, I believe, in the Father's heart because of that price that they were willing to pay to go through centuries and centuries of attacks. And they're not getting attacked any less right now. I mean, the stuff that you hear, the vitriol that's spewed all over Facebook and internet and YouTube, including telling all the Jews they're not even Jews. Oh, you're a bunch of phony Jews. You're not really Jews. Oh, you see this all out there. It's got to stop. He's going to be gathering the nations, and he's been gathering a remnant of the people who are left. Are left from what? After the tribulation, who's left? There's about 2 billion people left if you do the math right based on how many people are alive now. About a third of the planet are left. I'm not talking about pre-trib, post-trib rapture left. I'm talking about who literally are just left alive after the tribulation. Because I promise you, nobody's going anywhere. So just forget all of that. That rapture bus has got a blown engine and 4 flat tires, not going anywhere. Okay? So you can just throw your ticket out or try to sell it on eBay. It's not going anywhere. All these verses are talking about in that day, and we have to look forward to that day, and that's the excitement we have, and the hope that we have is for that day. But in that day, he's going to gather. And by the way, it doesn't say that MTOI is going to gather or some other alphabet soup organization is going to gather. He is going to gather. All we're doing is trying to prepare people for that.